Hello there, and welcome back to Doodle Rust Designs, your one-stop shop for all your character design, illustration, and doodle needs. It's 4 weeks now into the doodle journey, and I'd like to thank all of you who have subscribed to the channel so far. I literally cheer every new member of the club. This channel was always about showing past, present, and kind of future ideas, characters, how they come to life, and each person who likes my work and supports the channel is a doodle friend forever. Today's video is a sort of a bit of a medley, really, showing some old sketchbooks and an intro into a new series that I'm working on. I dug this sketchbook out over the weekend, and it's a bit of an old one. I mean, this one's back from 2007, so about 18, 19 years ago. And there's an early kind of idea about this kind of doodle Russ idea. I sort of flicked through it and noticed these kind of great little kind of one panel comic strip ideas. And it's always great looking at old work because you can sort of then think how you might return to them and maybe sort of develop them further, add colour into them, sort of push them a little bit further than just the original kind of scribbled designs. A lot of these I was obviously working on post-it notes and then just sticking them into this kind of sketchbook. A lot of them just kind of throwaway ideas, really. And I think what I'm going to talk about in the video later is a kind of an idea behind that, really. Not always overthinking the drawings that go into your sketchbook and just allowing them to kind of be quite organic. I kind of earmarked a few sketches in here I thought I'd show you. These kind of different kind of block-like head shapes. Again, I'm sure when I was drawing these, they would have just started off as these rectangles, curved shapes, and then kind of characters just evolved from them. And again, a bit like what I'm going to talk to you later, really, kind of just seeing where things go. An early example of the Yeti brothers, if you've watched any of my earlier videos, you'll see kind of those two appearing in the town of Milton, sort of moving forward, really. And just as I was flicking through, I found Pumpman. Look at that. An early kind of sketch drawing of the OAP with attitude. And that's kind of where this channel started, really. I wanted to return to old characters, kind of develop new ones. I mean, this guy, I don't really know much about him, really, apart that he's got long arms and he's called Douglas. So some of my characters, there is a story behind them. I sort of here was developing a couple of ideas about kind of young, kind of teenagers. We've had this kind of idea of hoodies in the UK, in Britain. This idea of youngsters wearing hoods, kind of menacing around kind of shopping centres, causing trouble. And it sort of developed into this idea of kind of the hoodies and the unread, sort of a play on this idea of kind of these zombie-like characters. There's another little one and suddenly, I find these old designs in a sketchbook and I think, oh, I could come back to that. That looks like that's got potential to kind of rework. And again, my idea with the Doodle Russ channel is to kind of have illustrations that become kind of like sketches. So it's like a reoccurring sketch show. I talked about the League of Gentlemen, the Mighty Boosh, maybe Little Britain, if you kind of know those shows, and how they would have reoccurring characters and these little sketches that would, here there's an idea of a series of kind of everyday kind of occurrences with animals. We've got this week, Chris has started going jogging after he felt his neck was getting fat. This week, Fred has begun painting his back fence. So kind of mundane situations, but kind of seen through a slightly kind of weird, kind of surreal twist on it. Two characters here, kind of sketched out lightly in blue. You've got Man and his beer drinking friend buddy, the fox. Man and the fox. Two characters I'm looking to kind of come back and develop a little bit further in the Milton series. God only really knows what that's all about. I think that sun cream he's kind of wiping on his hairy body could be mayonnaise. And the last couple I picked out, I quite like this one. Looked like it had a bit of potential to go somewhere. Kind of like a kung fu owl. Could have been inspired by kind of Kung Fu Panda. It may have even predated that. And then finally, just finishing off there with an old friend, a family pet called George, in a kind of a 007, a 009 Cat Lives kind of idea. So yeah, just a little kind of I'd seen a lot of kind of sketchbook tours recently, and I thought that'd be something I'd sort of put on the channel. I've always been a doodler, drawing in the margins of my school exercise books, creating characters, inspired by the comic books and the animations and toys that I grew up with. Stuff like the Beano, Whizzer and Chips, the short-lived kids version of Viz called Oink, collecting Garbage Pail stickers, and the amazing 2000 AD. I've always kind of found the process of creating characters and stories and worlds a cathartic one, really, and many of the journeys kind of start, as I said earlier, with a simple shape or a blob, a doodle blob, you might say. Sometimes when I take the moment to sit down and doodle, I don't have a set idea of the outcome, kind of suppressing the conscious mind and allowing the subconscious to guide the journey. People like Dali, Juan Miro and Max Ernst were examples of the surrealists who used this technique to explore kind of unexpected ideas. So this video is an introduction to a future series called Doodle Blobs, and just kind of enjoying the places my pencil take me. So take your socks off, sit back and let the doodles wash over your eyeballs. Although here I know kind of what I'm going to write, the title of Doodle Blobs, I'm kind of just letting the shapes of each of the letters kind of just flow quite naturally, with an idea that I'm then going to kind of build character into each one, how different parts of the letter shapes become parts of the features, curve of a beak, and maybe the opening of a mouth. On this one here, the D shape becomes a kind of a hand stuffing some food into his open mouth, while the character next to him kind of pokes the end of the L as a sort of tongue into the ear of the one in front of him, really. So kind of the characters begin to kind of interact with each other. There's kind of an energy to the arrangement. And again, I just like seeing how the shapes of each of the letters kind of have their own particular character to them. Around the outside, again, just as the ideas just kind of flow into my head, not thinking necessarily about what the characters like beforehand, just a kind of a rectangular shaped head, kind of working with lots of kind of squares in this sort of bottom section, each character built up out of a series of quite sharp edges, whether that be human or animal. I kind of like to draw animals. It's one of my favourite things, but kind of putting that anthropomorphic kind of humanistic quality into them. And again, I like making these kind of medley-like setups where each of the characters kind of vie for attention in the composition, kind of overlapping each other. And there we go. Some old sketchbook characters and some new ones from a series I'll call the Doodle Blobs. Keep on doodling.